Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Marasanico. Welcome to the A Train to Sedona broadcast. The A Train to Sedona is also the name of a book I wrote, a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. I share my trials and tribulations, my failures, my successes, in the hope that my journey will inspire yours to make your journey easier. You can purchase a signed copy of my book on my website at lindamarsanica.com on Buy the Book page. You can also purchase it from retail and bookstores. Now, let's remember that in New York City, the A train is an express train, so hop on board. I have a free gift for you, the sheet for high vibration living, a series of 7 exercises designed to help you bring your energy to where you want it. In this chaotic world, it's a lovely strategy to put in your toolkit. There's a walking meditation, a regular meditation, and a prompt to surround yourself with violet light and more. You can download it on my website at lindamarsanica.com. I have 2 disclaimers. One is that this broadcast does not establish a professional relationship. And the second disclaimer is that the opinions expressed on the broadcast do not reflect or represent Talk Radio New York City. Today, I have as my guest Tiffany Cano. Tiffany is the CEO of Highly Perceptive People Academy. She has been getting paid for healing since she was 8 years old. Many empaths, intuitives, transformational workshop leaders, and coaches hire her to help them see and heal their blind spots, to be better at holding space and boundaries because most are overwhelmed, subconsciously guarded. They take things personally and contract when feeling fear and negativity. So she helps you own your sense of self. In essence, Tiffany gets you even more aligned and congruent so that you can be even better at receiving more money, love, and joy. Tiffany will be featured in 3 upcoming A-list transformation movie documentaries: Frequency of Miracles, Pillars of Power, and Rise of the Lioness. I love that title. She is also creator of Soul of an Empath podcast, The Knowing You Show, Embodiment Program, Conscious Creation, Love and Empowerment, and the Highly Perceptive People Online Program. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the invite to be here.
I think we're going to play and have fun.
I like it. Life should have some play. And if
Oh,
it's not fun, then why bother?
so I was wondering, when you look back at your childhood and adolescence, tell us about the influences that bring you to where you are as a woman today.
Gosh. Well, as a kid, I spent most of my time at the barn. My dad was a horse trainer. My mom did that as well, part-time. And I just talked to all the animals. I talked to all the horses. I talked to nature. I assumed everybody could. Really wasn't until later in life that I understood that seeing clairvoyantly and being intuitive wasn't in everybody's wheelhouse. So, I think I had a little bit of an interesting upbringing in that sense. But I've always just had this passion for anything that was spiritual, anything that was divine, anything that was healing related, and started learning from different healing masters from 13 years onward to hone and refine my skills. And I've been trained in many, many, many modalities. It's been fantastic. Please excuse my voice. All the fires in
Oh,
LA, my respiratory system has just been on the fritz, and yeah, I'm between just all the emotional, physical loss and grief and smoke and bad air. My system's trying to catch up, but I feel, energetic, but my voice doesn't match it. So I'm here though, and I'm happy to share on the
and
show today.
you had mentioned to me that you know people, 24 people who lost their home.
20, at least 27 of people that I know lost their homes. One person died in her home.
It's quite something to
It's been
deal with that.
tragic.
Yes, it's quite a tragedy. I feel so pleased that you were able to get yourself to the broadcast, given all that's happened and your throat.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
So,
I, as hard as it is sometimes when there's that kind of a calamity happening, we also have to remember to still bring our love, bring our light, bring some positivity. It can't always be doom and gloom.
right.
There's moments
Hmm.
for being with that kind of loss. And then there's also moments to say, hey, let's also remember that we are spirit. We are of a divine nature, and let's bring that into the space so that it can help elevate, transmute, transform.
Yes. Love is very powerful. So I'm sending love as we speak and in my prayers and as I sleep and all of that.
Thank you.
So you've had all these influences. Were your parents clairvoyant?
No. Um, my mom was always interested in spirituality, and she's had moments of intuition, but more from like a claircognizance, that
Hmm.
inner knowing versus seeing.
Hmm.
And then it wasn't until maybe the last 10, 15 years that my dad started seeing some
Oh,
stuff energetically, but prior he was very, very closed off from his Catholic upbringing, was kind of afraid of all this and judged it, and was not supportive once he realized what I was doing. But he does not remember that when I was 8, I was at his barn and he saw me doing something that looked like massage on his barn clients, and he pulled me aside and he said, you should charge $1 for 10 minutes. So I did. Like, I literally started my healing career receiving money at age 8, and I attribute that to him.
he was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
He
Yeah,
wanted
him
to
and my grandpa, both entrepreneurs.
wonderful influence. What would you say the role of spirituality is in your life?
Everything. I do my best to bring the presence of the divine within my thoughts, my words, my deeds. Though you can't hear it because it's in my mind, I'm thinking, thoughts like, I love you, Lord. Thank you, God.
Hmm.
Guide me. I need you. Help. It's like this constant inner dialogue, because I think God, if we allow for that, can be the best friend, more so than even anybody here at this human level.
Hmm.
So it's my spiritual practice to just, as much as I can, be in that presence, awareness, gratitude, and dialogue
Very
with
powerful.
whatever someone deems as God, universe, spirit, you
Hmm.
know. hmm
So I pray all day long. The way you're describing your thoughts, God, help me with this. I don't get this. Could you send me a sign? Or, God, thank you so much for this or that. It's an ongoing conversation. And I love that kind of prayer. So
Yeah,
we share that. I was also wondering, in
yeah.
your clairvoyance, what kinds of things do you see? How do you, how does it operate with you? We're all so different.
I have been able to see a lot of different things. So people may come to me because maybe they need more money or they want to have a more loving relationship or a stronger spiritual connection or they have a health problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the surface level. But I go deeper than that. I look at what is subconsciously blocking them from attaining that goal. And so sometimes that means, I'll get glimpses of their timeline that, when they were 3 years old, mommy or daddy said this thing that hurt
Mm-hmm.
their feelings and had them feel unloved. And then now that's affecting their relationships and their money. Or sometimes I'll get glimpses of negative family legacies, like things that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation at this, subconscious cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll see things from a past life that's just kind of bleeding over and affecting things in the present.
Mm-hmm.
I can also see energies between people.
Mm-hmm.
So, so let's say someone really likes somebody else, but I'm looking energetically and I'm like, that connection is pretty much only at the sex chakra area. It's not at the heart level, right? That means there's lots of physical attraction, but maybe not so much of a love and generosity and caring, or the chords in a friendship might be more in the throat and the head, a little bit in the heart. And that's more of a communication kind
Mm-hmm.
of a, connection. And so, um, there, there's just a lot of different things that I can see, but I always try to get to the core wound. Like whatever's the core thing that started the block, whatever's getting in the way of
Mm-hmm.
them manifesting their goal, and then transmute that.
If a person is wanting their soulmate to come in, what chakras would ideally be aligned for that?
Multiple. I mean, in addition to the obvious heart chakra, we also have to get the sex chakra aligned, your throat chakra, the front and back solar plexus chakras. When there's any kind of hurt, betrayal, old traumas, they can really fester in those places. If you want a more spiritual, conscious relationship, you got to get the upper chakras
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
engaged, even the heart, the third eye, right? And so, and the crown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's multiple. It's not
Complex.
just
We are
one.
we're complex. We're complex spiritual beings. We are at a time for a break now. And when we come back, I'm going to ask you about your summit balance and ask you to give a demonstration based on a question that we discussed prior to broadcast.
Sure, I'll help you get aligned with your goals. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So we can take it away.
Are you a conscious co creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona with my guest, Tiffany Cano. So, Tiffany, I'm excited. How should we begin?
Okay, so first, when you get your subconscious and your conscious mind align and congruent, that's when the magic happens. That's when whatever you want to manifest and materialize has space to do so. And I'm trained in many, many, many modalities. I've also channeled quantum empowerment technique, which is another way to get your subconscious mind aligned. But I felt guided just to do a little fun, quickie, kinesthetic exercise. Um, and what we'll do, and I invite all of our listeners to follow along, is get out a pen and a paper and write down a simple present tense goal statement. Simple present tense goal statement. So let's say, for example, you want some more money in your life. Maybe you write something down like, I'm open and receptive to abundance, or money loves me, or I easily receive, $15,000 and more every month, or whatever your monetary goal is. If you are looking for more love, maybe your goal statement is, I'm in a loving partnership, or my marriage is getting even more loving every day. If you need some health, maybe the goal is around, my body is filled with health and vitality, or I easily sleep the whole night. Right. So just pick one simple
Mhm.
sentence, and then I'm going to guide you through a kinesthetic process that is super fun and easy.
Shall I tell you what we discussed?
Yes.
Okay. With your help, I created the following statement. I am calm in the presence of a live audience. I am calm while speaking in the presence of a live audience.
Okay. I'm calm while speaking in the presence of a live audience. Okay, that's good. Yes. And by the way, while those of you who are watching and listening, if you want me to look over your goals, you're welcome to put them in the comment section. You can also ask me in a free 15-minute session, call with Tiffany.com. But for now, we're going to work with your goal, Linda. I'll let you kind of be the representative of the moment, and whatever goal you as audience just wrote down, that's the one you're going to work with. Okay. So go ahead and cross your arms at your chest. Okay. It doesn't matter which arm is on top, right or left. We're going to be using both. So, with your arms crossed, feet flat on the floor, eyes closed, mentally, silently repeat your goal statement in your mind over and over for the next minute or so. Keep breathing and repeating it. Good. Uncross and recross so your other arm is on top. Continue mentally, silently repeating that same goal statement over and over again for another minute or so. Very good. Now, put your hands in front of your chest, about 6 inches from your chest, with your fingertips touching as if there's like an energy ball between your palms. And now you're going to start tapping your fingertips together like this. Tap, tap, tap. And continue mentally, silently repeating that same goal statement in your mind.
Eyes closed.
Eyes closed. No more tapping, just touch. So keep your fingertips together. It still looks as if there's an energy ball between your palms. And you're going to continue for another minute or so, mentally, with your eyes closed, silently repeating that same goal. Very good. You can go ahead and relax, put your hands down. If you have water nearby, take a sip of water. And it's important to rehydrate your brain because as new neural pathways are being created by the technique that we just did, it produces heat in the brain. Okay, so now let me muscle test. So, something that I forgot to verbally share before we started, it tested weak. Your goal statement tested weak. And now verbally say your statement out loud. I am calm while speaking in the presence of a live audience.
I am calm, speaking in the presence of a live audience.
Now test strong. Good job.
Thank you for your assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me do a little group test. Okay, for the audience. All right. High 10. Good job, everybody. Good job. Pat yourselves on the back. Now, there's one final step to anchor it in, and that's an action. So, what is one or more actions that you can take to anchor in this goal statement? Now, maybe an action for you, Linda, is doing something like a set of deep breathing exercises before you go live, or a mini meditation, or um, like doing some extra deep breaths when we're on a commercial break. Like those are just a couple of ideas. And some people might want to do this goal statement as a mantra.
Make a nice mantra.
Right. If you had a health goal, maybe your action includes some sort of physicality, like going on a walk or, getting your booty to the gym. If it's money related, perhaps it's, well, doing your books or, um, having a little money dance, like doing a little ka-ching money dance, right? So
That
there's
creates
many.
great energy.
Mhm.
Doing a dance is going to create loving energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to follow through on that action step, ideally within the next like 1 to 3 days. Like, don't dilly dally. We don't want an energy of procrastination because that affects your energy. We want you to be like aligned and ready and manifesting your goal quickly and easily.
So I'm very interested in the muscle testing. One of my favorite scientists is David Hawkins, who was a major presence in Sedona. And he did he did muscle testing and has a protocol for it. When we get back from our commercial, we have a little bit of time, but when we get back, would
Mhm.
you share how you pick up the muscle testing in your mind?
Sure. Yeah.
I
I'll do
really
what I can.
Oh, okay. And then also, I will be asking you how you help people with their blind spots. What are you actually doing? I think that would be of interest, certainly to me, but perhaps our listeners would find that very interesting. So we'll come back to
Absolutely.
do that. All right. So we can take it away on a break.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona. My guest, Tiffany Cano, is going to tell us about how she brings in muscle testing and some other very interesting aspects of her work. Tiffany?
Thank you. Muscle testing, I actually learned back in college when I was studying kinesiology. A
Uh-huh.
lot of the chiropractors do muscle testing these days. Many healers, it's part of their modality because our body has this innate intelligence and wisdom, and
Mm-hmm.
we can literally ask our body yes, no questions, and it will give us answers.
Yes.
Every single muscle in our body could be used theoretically for muscle testing. When you go to the chiropractor, you're going to hold out an arm and the chiro is going to be pushing down on your arm. And, if your arm stays up, it's strong and that's a yes. If it falls down, it's a no. But I was doing muscle testing for myself with myself. I didn't need a second, person to do it on. So um sometimes I'll just use the
Mm-hmm.
sticky finger, like show me a yes and it sticks together, show me a no and it glides.
Ah.
Um for years I did this one where it's like my thumb and my thumb and pointer finger and I, give me a yes and it stays together. Show me a no, right? And it pulls apart. And so when you're doing muscle testing, a couple of things you want to for sure have in mind. Hydrate. Your body is electrical. You have to have enough hydration.
Mm-hmm.
So be unattached to the outcome. If you're attached, well, you might be skewing things. And you can also test for other people and they can test for you, assuming that, there's the facility and accuracy. But I've used muscle testing. I've also used scanning of energy, like literally scanning. Let's say I'm in a grocery store and there's all these oranges. It's like, okay, well, which orange has the highest vitality? Okay, and the one with the biggest energy,
Mm-hmm.
that has the highest vitality. That's the one you want to buy. Or if you're trying to decide on a vitamin, you can again muscle test or you can scan it. The one with the strongest energy is usually the one that you want to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can also use it for everyday things when you're trying to decide, should I, buy this product? Should I send out this email? Um, would it be helpful for me to call this client at this time, right? You get really granular and specific. I remember in college, I was muscle testing for test answers.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very
I
clever.
I I did. I studied, but I got to this final and I looked at the test and it looked like a foreign language.
Oh.
So I was underneath the desk and I was just testing, scanning for is the answer A, B, C, D, and I ended up getting an A minus for the class. So I must have done well on the final because I only had like a B minus going into it. But that was the wisdom of my body.
Mhm.
Right?
Yes,
It knew. It knew more so than my mind.
I think it's fascinating. I wanted to ask you also, you help people with their blind spots. What do
Yes.
you actually do to do that?
Blind spots are often right next to our brilliance. Blind spots are the things that are more in our subconscious mind. So for every 100 to 200 conscious thoughts, there's 11 million subconscious thoughts. Well, that 11 million, is often the parts that are wreaking havoc because consciously you might be repeating that mantra of, oh, it's super easy to make money. But underneath the surface, at this subconscious level, there's thoughts of, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not good enough. nobody's going to buy from me. Um, and then I could also look at when's the earliest time in your life that you didn't feel worthy and deserving. Oh, when you were 4 years old, you know, your parents picked your sibling over you for the thing that you wanted, and it had you feel unworthy, undeserving, like a failure, less than. And that energy has been vibrating
Yeah.
within you ever since. And so then I'll pull out one of my energetic tools, and I have many, 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 and help to release that, transmute it, and then install a more empowering, uplifting, impactful kind of a messaging, a new belief that will support you
Mhm.
in your area of success that you're aiming for.
Sounds wonderful, Tiffany. Now, another thing you talk about is congruence. Would you tell
Yes.
us a bit about it and why it's so important?
Yes. So let's say you have a goal of manifesting $25,000 in the next, you know, 30 days. I'm just making up a number here. And your belief system is, so when I'm looking at different people, let's say I've got, person A, and their beliefs are a mixture of, oh, I could never manifest that money so fast. Oh, I don't know. And their level of congruence is like 23% out of
Yeah.
100,
Mhm.
right? And then you've got, person B, and their mix is maybe a little bit more like, 55% congruence. And then you've got person C, and they're, 92% congruent. And then there's person D that's 100% congruent. That's really the only person that has the highest likelihood of actually manifesting all $25,000 within that 30 days. So it doesn't mean that A, B, and C won't manifest anything, but it's likely only a sliver
Mm.
of what their true potential is. So even if someone's 2% off, that 2% could be the difference between landing that sale or not. That
Fascinating.
that 2% could be the difference between attracting the love of your life and feeling worthy and deserving and ready for that, and not, and missing that opportunity
Mhm.
with self-sabotage.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm. Wow.
So I try to get people to 100. I I'm a I like to go deep with people.
Yeah.
And the more open and receptive they are, the faster and quicker and easier it is
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
get there. Some people who are really, really open and receptive and have enough good karma, I mean, maybe it only takes one session or two sessions.
Mhm.
And then with other people who have, a long, long, long history of trauma,
Mhm.
well, it might require a series. And we're just releasing, a few layers at a time until we get to the true essence of who they are. Because imagine you're in a car and you're, you're looking through the windshield, but the windshield's dirty. Well, you're not going to have the same amount of clarity and ease with driving down the road as if you just took your car through a car wash. So I'm basically taking your aura, your body, your chakras, all of that through an energetic car wash and giving you, a detailed, deep cleaning.
Shiny vehicle, a
Yes,
clear,
and
shiny vehicle.
oh, giving you a polish and yeah. So from head to toe,
And
right?
you also talk about a healthy space, that you work with people to have them develop a healthy space. Could you say something about that?
Yes. So, to have the best capacities for love, for joy, for money, we really need to be aware of the various types of spaces that we have, and then also have healthy boundaries. So, space in general is like the space around us that we need. You could think of it visually kind of like an aura,
Mm-hmm.
but we have spiritual space, which is needed to connect with the divine, to get still, to meditate, to receive intuition and messages. We need mental space to communicate, to write a cohesive email, to,
Yes.
you know, be able to even do some artwork. We need emotional space to process and be with our emotions, other people's emotions,
Mm-hmm.
physical space, not only for our physical body, but also our home and work environment.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a money space.
Mm.
We have relationship space. We have life space. So when we have really clean, expansive, healthy spaces, then our capacities for greatness just appear. And when our spaces are small, dirty, chaotic, usually because of fear, like we'll fear some sort of contamination, negative beliefs, like we'll shrink down our self and playing small. And that small, dirty, dim capacity absolutely gets in the way of us being congruent, successful, able to easily manifest. And so I actually teach people a lot about spaces and boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and how to actually have clear, healthy, firm, appropriate space and boundaries so that you know what to be a yes for and what to be a no for.
Yes. No is an important word.
Absolutely.
And I'm wondering, when people have, as you call, dirty, small spaces, does it show up in the chakras and the aura?
Yes.
How does it manifest?
Both. Both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dirty, small, diminishing your
Fog. Yeah.
capacities. You'll feel edgy, irritated, foggy brain, low energy, maybe more irritated. So all of that happens when we collapse our own space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to identify it as I collapsed my space, not just they collapsed my space, because then you can take your power back. And we can talk, more about that if you like.
Personal responsibility is such an important concept and an important attitude because we are always creating. I think of us as broadcast journalists. We're thinking, feeling, and acting and sending out energy to everybody who feel it. Now we're getting ready for a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the movies you've just filmed.
Ooh,
I'm really
okay.
excited to hear because when we first spoke about your being on the show, you were off to do that early in January. The first 2 weeks we talked about, no, no, you said, I'm filming. So, I want to talk about that. When we come back, we can go on a break now.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Hi, I'm Linda Marsanico. The A Train to Sedona is a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. It's also the name of my new broadcast on Wednesdays at 12 noon. When we are spiritual, we embrace possibilities and ideas, which strengthen our mind, body, spirit, health, and wisdom. On the A Train to Sedona broadcast, I plan to interview guests who embrace these expansive practices. Join us on Wednesdays at 12 noon on Talk Radio New York City.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
I've just unmuted myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona and my guest, Tiffany Cano. I do want to say hello to Gwen, who has given me a clap of a hand. Thank you so much for listening in, Gwen. I'm so pleased to have you in the live audience. Tiffany, you've been involved in 3 A-list transformation movie documentaries, Frequency of Miracles, Pillars of Power, Rise of the Lioness. Will you share what it's like, what your experiences have been?
Absolutely. The funny thing is I had zero desire to be in any movies. When two different people were talking to me about being in an upcoming transformation movie, I thought it was the same movie. And then I actually found out, nope, two different movies, two different production companies, two different pay-to-play opportunities. And I had this conversation with God. It was more my inner child had this tantrum with God, if I'm being honest, and where I was just like, God, I don't want to do it. I'm happy where I'm at. I don't want to be that public. I don't want to, be that visible. I just want to stay the way things are, right? And and so I had my tantrum and then I let it go. And then I said, and I'm here to serve. I'm happy to serve. If this would be helpful for humanity, helpful for me on my spiritual path, then I surrender. I'm a yes. Just work it out. I mean, every detail, God. I'm talking about time, money, wardrobe, everything. I give it all to you. And then I got the clarity about a day or two later to be a yes for one of the movies, Pillars of Power, that is being produced by the Los Angeles Tribune. And so I invested in that, and then like more clients just started pouring in, and it was that universal demonstration of, hey, I'm being in alignment, right? I got the divine message to do it. I took that action, and now the universe is like rewarding me with goodness. And then I got the yes for Frequency of Miracles. And so I said yes to that and was able to pay that off in full. And I got even more clients. And then that was the first one that I was actually filming, which I filmed last fall. And I was scared, and getting ready for it and trying to find outfits, and I had a lot of mental preoccupation going into it. Um and then afterwards I was like, check, I did it. So then these other movies, I didn't have any more nervousness because I had already done it once. I'd been on the set. I had hair and makeup and all the cool things that go into making a movie. And being that it's a documentary, people just ask me questions, and then I just allow whatever answers are meant to flow out in the moment. And that's what I did.
So you channeled the answers.
Yeah, to the best of my ability. Some of the questions I didn't quite resonate with in both of the movies, but I figured it's not about me, it's about what could be helpful for other people. So maybe whatever is being said is exactly what somebody needs to hear.
Yeah.
And so I just completed, filming the second movie. And that one was exquisite because the LA Tribune had it set up where we had the area to film the movie, but then we also had an area for producer interviews. And I'm actually one of the producers with the LA Tribune films. So I switched hats and I got to actually do some producer interviews with many of the cast. And then there was an area for podcast interviews and an area for hair and makeup and an area for taking photography and pictures. And then we had a press event at the Grove. And then the next day we had an awards ceremony at a winery and the cast got an award. And so it was this really great way to get publicity, PR,
Yes.
visibility. And so that's what I just got back from. And then I'm going to do it all again with the LA Tribune for Rise of the Lioness, the power of feminine leadership. And that one we're going to be filming in a couple of months. And there's still space for anybody out there who feels like, oh my gosh, I resonate with that. Just reach out to me, tiffany'sjv.com, and we can have a conversation about it. But it's been an incredible journey. So that inner child of mine that was afraid of being so visible, well, she received a lot of healing and doors opened because even though there was fear, I did my inner work. I said yes. And
Yeah.
then, now the universe is providing in ways that I never, ever would have had opportunities to receive if I had stayed in fear.
Yes, you pushed past your comfort zone and your energy
Exactly.
gets lighter and brighter so do you think you're going to be doing additional movies, Tiffany?
Well, I am likely going to be in the producer role again, creative producer for the entire series for Pillars of Power. So there's actually 6 movies for that. And Rise of the Lioness, we have 8 or 9 movies coming up. So for the next 3 years, every quarter, my plan is to be involved in this producer role for those movies. And it's exquisite for the coaches and healers and transformation leaders who've been wanting to create a bigger impact. This is one way to do it because film is the most watched medium out there, right? I mean, it's how a lot of our society likes to bring in information these days.
It's
Let
very
me watch.
persuasive. Very persuasive.
Yeah.
You were going to say something.
Well, most people would rather watch a movie than like read a book, right? I mean, there's still some that like both. And by the way, we will have a book coming out for the movies as well. Everyone gets a chapter in a book. So there's just lots of incredible things that manifest for me, for my clients, when they transmute that fear and
Yes.
they step into their power. You know, I think of it as yes, living in the yes. I am living in the yes. And $Y yes, right? And I even made a song about it. and and it's just fun. Life is incredible that way.
It's an adventure. And it makes me think of a header in a book, and I don't remember which book. So this mother bird is with her young birds, and she's saying, fly. No, we're not ready. No, we're not ready. She pushes them and they fly. So yes to being in flight.
Yeah, Divine Mother kicked me out of the tree. Actually, it was my meditation cave. I was really quite happy in my meditation cave and I loved it. But, there's a time to serve in ways that are beyond our personal comfort zone.
Absolutely. And I think that the need for feminine leadership is so essential right now. And I think that also, I believe that men and women have a female side on the left and a masculine side on the right. So we need to be operating ideally with both so that we're not going like this, we're not acting from here, but we're acting from a congruent self, an integrated personality. So we can really achieve and create and co-create. So
Absolutely. We both have masculine forms of power and
mhm.
feminine forms of power. It's not one good, one bad. It's what are the right energies and frequencies for this particular task in this particular moment.
Precisely. As we come to the end of our time together, I wanted to ask you to tell our listeners how they can reach you. Now, all of your social media are on the show notes, but why don't you tell our listeners?
Highly Perceptive People Academy.com is my website. If you want a free 15-minute blind spot strategy session with me, callwithtiffany.com. And I have ton of free stuff, free healings, blog posts, articles, journal prompts in my cell phone app,
I see that.
HPP Academy app. And that's a wonderful way to learn more. And I have a ton of free content, and then I have hidden paid content on there. So I would say those are probably the fastest and easiest ways that you can, you know, start working with me.
Thank you so much for being here. It has been a joy. So I want to say to our listeners that I will see you next time. Have a very beautiful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Thank you again, Tiffany.
My pleasure, Linda. Much love and blessings to everyone who's listening and watching. I'm just so happy to be here, and may we all be that light
Yes,
that we're meant to be.
indeed. As we say, bye for now.